All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Well, we got big news. Big news. We'll see if this is what it looks like or if this is all misdirection. But there's big news, which would seem to invalidate some of the things that I've said at first glance. If you look a little deeper, I actually don't think it invalidates anything, okay? So what we're talking about here is these leaked DMs that are saying that within a couple days, Khabib's going to vacate the lightweight title, and the lightweight title will be on the line between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, okay? So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. By the way, 8,000 subscribers, look at that. 8,000 subscribers. I was getting really frustrated, then all of a sudden I just jumped that last 200 just like that. Thank you guys for the ongoing support. I genuinely mean that. Now, if you like this particular video, forward it around because I'm going to throw out a little hypothesis that you probably aren't going to see on other channels because this is the thing that I'm best at, right? Maybe not right, but very good at hypotheses, okay? So we're going to talk about the business. We're going to talk about this leaked thing, and we're going to talk about what could be going on, okay? So here's the deal. I have been very vocal in saying that I think that Conor and Khabib rematch is going to happen, and my entire basis for that is how much I know Dana wants to make that fight. And one thing that I actually didn't bring up on my previous videos is if you watch that clip when he's talking about, you know, making that rematch, he literally says, and then when Dustin and Conor fight, hopefully, and he catches himself and he goes, if Conor wins that fight, then of course you make the Conor and Khabib rematch. He literally said, hopefully.
With Khabib when I get into Abu Dhabi and I go next week and hopefully, you know, if Conor wins the fight against Poirier, you do Conor versus Khabib again. You do Conor versus Khabib again. You do Conor versus Khabib again.
As in, hopefully Conor wins so that he can make the rematch with Khabib. Okay, so all that validates is, of course, Dana wants that fight more than any other thing. Okay, so here's the deal. So what I was saying, though, is that if the Conor and Dustin fight ends up being for a title, then maybe Khabib is really going to retire, okay? But if it's not on the line, right? If the title's not on the line, then you know Khabib is sitting there right behind waiting for Conor, okay? So here's the deal, right? So right now the DMs look, oh, you know, hey, the title's going to be on the line between Conor and Dustin, okay? So that looks bad, right? It looks bad if your hypothesis is that Khabib is going to be waiting for Conor behind this victory, right? So it looks bad because it looks like Khabib is vacating the title, okay? Well, here's the other thing though, okay? If I can figure out that if the title's not on the line between Dustin and Conor, that it means Khabib is sitting behind there waiting for Conor, guess who else can figure that out? Every other person, okay? And you got to keep in mind here, again, like you have to, if this sounds stale, I don't give a fuck, okay? This is the biggest thing going on in mixed martial arts by 100 miles right now, okay? But here's the deal, man. You got to understand this is the biggest fight in the history of the sport. This is not just like, you know, oh, you know, like all the normal rules do not apply. This is the biggest fight ever in the history of the fucking sport, okay? So you got to think, what is going to create the biggest spectacle, okay? If this fight comes together, if Conor beats Dustin and they're going to do the Khabib rematch, what creates the most hype? What is the best possible story, right? Is it Conor challenging Khabib for his title? Or is it Conor becomes the champion and then Khabib comes back out of retirement and they both have belts, okay? Which is a bigger story? Think like a promoter. Think like you own the UFC. Think like a person who is trying to create the best possible narrative, okay? So in order for it to be the best possible narrative, Conor needs to have a belt, okay? Conor needs to have a belt. And here's the thing. This is why I believe that this is a strategy and not Khabib actually vacating his belt, okay? Number one, they don't want people to see it coming, okay? They don't want people to see it coming. They want it to be Khabib's coming back for one more, okay? They want that. Also, if Dustin beats Conor, Khabib's not coming back, okay? This is well, at least probably not to 155. Like, his last fight's not going to be against Dustin Poirier, okay? If he's really trying to do 30-0, it's going to be a big fight, okay? It's not going to be against Dustin Poirier, I can promise you that. So in the event that Dustin does beat Conor, which Dana obviously doesn't think is going to happen,
and hopefully,
neither do I, and neither does anyone else, then yeah, he can just have the belt because that's not going to be Khabib's 30th fight. So it doesn't matter. But if Conor wins, okay, if Conor wins,
you do Conor versus Khabib again.
Then Conor has the belt, and then Khabib comes back, and Khabib has the belt, champion versus champion, just like the first time, except in reverse, right? In reverse. Last time, Conor vacated the belt. Khabib won it, and then Conor came back. It's exactly the same thing, except in reverse, okay? Here's the other thing. Okay, here is the other thing. In the event that Conor does win and wins decisively, right? Like, if you're trying to convince me that Khabib is just going to sit on the sideline, like it's the biggest fight ever. Okay, it's the biggest fight ever. This is all about building narrative. Okay, listen, I will eat shit. I'm just telling you right now. I will eat shit if this rematch does not. If Conor beats the hell out of Conor beats the hell out of Dustin Poirier. This rematch does not get made. I will eat shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Here was the other thing. Sorry. I don't know if you could tell, but I was like, here's the other thing, and then completely forgot what I was saying. Okay, here's what I was actually going to say. Okay. Normally, the UFC might not do this because when a guy has the belt, that changes his entire comp structure, right? So if like Dustin Poirier wins the belt and then he fights a beat, whatever. If you have an interim belt, you get a back end on the pay-per-view. If you have the real belt, you get a back end on the pay-per-view. So in that sense, if they knew Khabib was coming back, it wouldn't service the UFC because they'd have to pay back end to two different guys. Okay, Conor and Khabib have their own deals. Okay, it doesn't, they belt or not, they have a deal that's different than all the other champions. Okay, they get paid way more than other guys. Conor gets paid an enormous amount of money, no matter what. So whether he has the belt or doesn't have the belt is totally irrelevant as it relates to comp. Okay, so compensation is what comp means. Okay, so like putting the belt up in this bout and then Conor wins is a win-win situation because then it's champion versus champion. They're not going to have to pay him anymore. If Conor doesn't win, they've got a new champion in Dustin because Khabib will go do some super fight or, go up to 170 or something. Some other thing that's not the biggest fight ever, okay? But I'm telling you, if you guys think that this being for the belt means Khabib is actually not going to fight Conor, I'm telling you right now, that's not what it means, okay? This game is not over yet, okay? The game is not over. Anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell.
And hopefully
Peace.